Grief Karga said you were coming.
What else did he say?
He said you were the best in the parsec. Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
You are a Mandalorian. Your ancestors wrote the great mythosword.
Your name will be legendary.
I don't know if you heard, but the Empire is gone.
We have you 4-1.
I like those odds.
Hello and welcome to Mandalorian Minute, a Who Watches podcast about the Disney Plus series The Mandalorian. I'm Travis Fishburne.
I'm Ryan DeVere.
And I'm Dustin Meadows.
And this week we'll be discussing Season 1, Chapter 3, The Sin. And so what do you guys think of this episode?
Awesome. Love this episode. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this show. It is yet to let up, and I feel like every episode the action's been consistent and entertaining. And again, this one throwing back a lot of clear Western influences in the mix. I'm sure we'll get to this one too. I feel like maybe more than the first two episodes, Ludwig Göransson's score feels very Morricone inspired, very spaghetti western.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it's been like the end credits have been that for the first couple, but like this one, like I kind of got that vibe. Like it felt even more so like I was watching a western than even the previous two episodes, which very heavily hit that.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. Like, give me a space cowboy, please.
Yeah, no, it was definitely nailing the tone throughout this entire episode.
Absolutely. We get more of the Mandalorians, which feels it feels like the Western kind of. He's in his hometown. He's got his home turf.
Yeah.
You've got the kid to protect. You know, like this. The Mandalorian's kind of untouchable, even though we've seen him get his butt kicked a couple times.
Yeah. Well, and even just learning more about the Mandalorians themselves and kind of like what their role is now after the fall of the Empire and how they're kind of surviving.
Yeah.
Like this is the first time too that we see more Mandalorians besides the titular Mandalorian and of course the armorer, the blacksmith, whatever you want to call her.
Yeah, the armor is what she's referred to as.
Yeah, we see all these other Mandalorians that obviously there's a similar theme like in their costuming and everything, but like they all like none of them look identical, which is really cool.
No.
Which I love. There's actually later on in the episode when they show up and like the heavy gunner Mandalorian shows up, all I could think of was the Brotherhood of Steel from Fallout. Because he kind of visually, he very much had like that kind of power armor vibe looking.
Yeah,
and then,
I jumped to Spartans
and then you
from
throw,
Halo.
But yeah, it's really cool. This show continues to be great. Like you even had like a couple of kind of like high noon showdown moments as well between the Mandalorian and a couple other characters. Yeah, it's amazing. I love this show. Make more of this show.
Yeah, I think they are right now.
Yeah, if they're gonna build out kind of the Star Wars universe like this, man, I'm all for it.
And it's great too. Like I don't know if I mentioned this before. I feel like I did, where this one, like the Easter eggs, the references to other things, they feel more natural, more so than like the Star Wars stories that we've seen with the theatrical releases. I think I'm almost positive I said something before about Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba showing up in Rogue One. And it's just like, all right, come on. Like, don't get me wrong. I love that scene from New Hope. And I love a Dr. Evazan joke as much as the next guy, but it feels forced.
Yeah.
Whereas like everything in this has felt very organic. You know, it's like, you're not like, it works. It flows better. It feels a lot more natural, which I really dig. Like, a Zebrak showed up in this episode, which is great.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they just wanted to give us one of the Darth Maul dudes. I was like, no, there's just a Zebrak there, and he's just a bounty hunter.
Yeah, and it was cool because I believe that Zabrak did not have any face tattoos.
Yeah,
which not all of them do. Like that's a specific thing. So it's cool to show them that way.
Yeah.
And to expand this world and not be like, not all Zabraks have that face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then hashtag not all Zabraks. and then of course the best part of this episode is of course the return of the client played by Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
Which the more I keep thinking about it, Werner Herzog just sounds like a Star Wars name.
Yeah, that could be
It
the
just sounds
literal
like, hey,
character's
is there a
name.
Star Wars name generator? Oh yeah, you're Werner Herzog. Yeah, it's no dumber than Salacious Crumb. I'll take it.
You said that's the best part of the episode, but man, every time they're melting the steel,
Oh yeah, the
I'm like,
Beskar steel.
That's a
Yeah, the
satisfying-
forge scenes are really great.
Ooh, yeah. I love the like the multi flamed
Yeah,
stuff. Like
it looks like a bunch of those like butane torches that you buy at a
Yeah.
gas station.
yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
I just want more of that.
But it's everything about this episode. Should we just dive into the episode?
Yeah, we'll just do a brief summary here at the beginning, and then we can just
Yeah.
go into all the things that
So
we
I can
love
just
about it.
gush over director of Grizzly Man, Werner Herzog.
Yeah. So, the Mandalorian delivers the child to the client, whom he unsuccessfully questions about the plans for the child. The client then rewards him with more Beskar steel, which he uses to fully upgrade his armor. He then
does.
returns to Grief Karga for his bounty. However, he turns back to infiltrate and rescue the child. In the process, he is attacked by the other bounty hunters, but is rescued by fellow Mandalorians. Eventually, he escapes with the child.
Yeah. God, everything about this episode is so good.
Yeah.
And I like there's so many things that they set up earlier in the episode that pay off by the end, like the baby Yoda like taking the thing off top
Yeah.
of like the thruster control, and then him giving that to him to play with at the end of the episode. One of my favorite moments was when he's meeting with Grief Karga, and like we see him briefly pull that Beskar steel out of his pocket, and then when he shoots him
Yeah.
later on. Because like I was like, there's no way Carl Weathers is out of the picture just
Yeah.
yet. And then he sits up and it was like, oh, yep. I was like, that's beautiful. Because like I feel like so many times, like we like stuff like that happens, but we have no idea that it was
It's
in place
contrived.
to happen that
Yeah.
way. Whereas like it's like, oh yeah, no, this makes sense.
Mhm.
If he had it, he's literally playing it close to the chest.
Yeah. No, as soon as he shot him, I was like, he's got that Beskar steel right there.
Yep. Oh,
Yep.
and it was perfect.
So my thought was, in that scene, did he aim for the steel?
He
Was
could've.
trying to not kill him, or
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. I was like, was that intentional? Because I feel like the Mandalorian is a smart dude. Like
He's a good shot.
sometimes he might rush in without thinking, but like he's perceptive. Like he's survived as long as he has, especially like this like solo storming of the client's little area. Like it's probably the most dangerous thing he's done because he had to do it on his own.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like obviously, he's smarter than probably a lot of people would give him credit for. So, and I was even thinking, I was like, I feel like, like his relationship with Grief Karga could probably still survive this somehow. So yeah, I honestly I don't know.
Yeah. No,
'Cause, like, if you really wanted to go for a kill shot, you would go for the head. But at the same, like, I mean, he also shoots him pretty much where he shoots everybody. Because, like, everybody goes for chest shots in this world.
yeah.
yeah,
But he always uses the other weapon.
Right. He
To
didn't
just completely
disintegrate him.
vaporize
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's true. The old disintegrating rifle.
They have done a masterful job so far of show don't tell, because they have a character who doesn't speak much
Yeah.
and a character who doesn't show his face, but they've done a great job of conveying emotion, conveying his thought process
Oh, it's
without
amazing.
Yeah.
Like
any
the-
facial expression
the-
whatsoever.
This
I've
is
seen-
on par with Carl Urban in Dread.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and even Dread, like we at least got like from the upper lip down, so like we still like got to actually see him emote to some extent. Whereas
Yeah.
like we don't get that with Pedro Pascal at all. It's all in the voice.
This is Michael Fassbender and Frank.
Yeah, yeah, it's nuts. Like, and it's such a great performance.
Yeah.
And it just I wish we got more performances like this, because like it feels like they're spread out. Like every 7 or 8 years we'll get one. Like the other obvious one that I think of is Hugo Weaving in V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
But it's rarely do we get anything like this.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I've seen complaints from the very few people who have not fallen in love with this show.
They're wrong.
Yeah. And their main complaint is,
give me their address.
Is the fact that it's a masked, the helmeted character, and they can't connect with them, which is just insane with me.
That's why you get Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, I mean, I don't think the point of the show is necessarily to connect with the main character. I don't think the point of any show or movie is necessarily to connect with the character. I think it's nice when you do relate to a character, for sure, but like, none of us are bounty hunters. It's dumb. Like, none of us are Batman.
Yeah, but this is the same thing, though. Like, Jeremiah Johnson, you don't connect with him. You go on the journey with him.
Sure.
But nothing about Jeremiah Johnson is like, yeah, I feel him. I get him in a heart plate. Like, no, this is like the benefit of a Western is like you get a character that you don't have to associate with, but you can still go on the journey with them.
Yeah, well, and the whole point is he's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
I mean, as much as everybody says it's like, oh yeah, if I were an X-Men, I'd be Wolverine. I was like, no, you wouldn't. Shut up. You'd be Dazzler.
Yeah, and another thing too is we talk about this in regards to Watchmen this week, but the fact that it is a faceless character means that no matter who you are, you can like project yourself onto that character.
Literally pretend it's you under that helmet.
Yeah, it's the same thing that Stan Lee always said about Spider-Man. Is Spider-Man like could be anybody?
Yeah, well, and that's literally the whole point of Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
That's right.
It's like anyone and everyone is Spider-Man.
So we're gonna get into the Mandoverse.
Yeah. Oh boy. But
which we kind of did.
Yeah. God, yeah, it's so good, and like Werner Herzog, like we've gotten 2 episodes of him now. And he's probably had less than 3 minutes of screen time total, probably close to. But man, has he made the most of those few minutes that he's gotten? Like I'm really excited to find out more about this character and what obviously his connection to the Empire is. Maybe it's a retconned Palpatine.
Maybe.
Because I would not be mad about that.
Yeah, he's definitely answering to somebody.
Yeah.
Because in the scene in which Mandalorian is spying with him with his gun that seems to be able to do anything.
Yeah, the gun with the predator vision.
Yeah, he says, the doctor, Dr. Pershing, says, we're explicitly ordered to bring it back alive. To which Werner Herzog says, I don't care, extract the necessary material and be done with it.
Yeah, which I'm really curious too, because again, like, so we know that the client is the one who gave out multiple tracking fobs. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious where the discrepancy in the bounty instructions came from.
Yeah.
Because IG-11 straight up was just told to kill it.
Yeah, well, we know that he gave out multiple. We don't know that he gave out all of them.
That's true.
Other people could have...
That's a fair point.
Yeah, there could be other parts of this fractured empire that are trying to get a hold of this.
Yeah,
in the first episode, it sounded like there had been multiple people that Quill had led there.
It's been going on.
Yeah, so we didn't really get an exact answer that
yeah,
there aren't more.
I guess that one I just assumed that the majority of them had been sent by Grief Karga, because it seems like there's clearly some kind of a guild hub there at least.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
but I'm sure there's probably multiples of those because it's a pretty vast galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Has this planet been named? Is Arvala 7 the only named planet we've had so far?
Yeah,
to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't know the name of this planet. Yeah, Arvala 7 is the only one I can think of.
Yeah, because it definitely, not that it's a planet, but it definitely has a Mos Eisley vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that's on purpose.
But then Arvala 7 also had a very Tatooine vibe. So
yeah, they're just pulling from all of Tatooine.
Not everything could be Kashyyyk, okay?
Yeah.
Although that would be a cool setting. That's a cool backdrop.
What about Was it Mustafar? Was that the lava planet
Yes.
from Revenge of the Sith? Yeah.
That's the one. Just awesome
But yeah,
episode
that-
all around. The part of the episode that got me the most excited was definitely when Werner Herzog whipped out the old ice cream maker.
Yes, I saw that, and I leaned over to my roommate. I was like, "Is that the thing that the dude was carrying in
Wilro
Cloud
Hood.
City?" And
That's right. Yeah. Oh, I love the ice cream maker, man. Wilro Hood so much.
I saw that, and I was like, the whole time I was there, I was like, "There's no way Travis doesn't bring this up."
Yeah. Well, at every Star Wars celebration, there is a running of the Wilro Hoods, in which there is an army of everyone, man, woman, doesn't matter what race you are. You strap on a mustache and you get an orange jumpsuit and your Wilro Hood, and everybody runs around with a big ice cream maker, and they all just chant ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, and they like just march and run around the whole convention center. It's so amazing. And so I just thought about the implications of that after this episode. Now I'm like, are they all going to scream Bhaskar now? Or
This may be the only time I can think of that nerds have used their powers for good.
Sole exception.
That's awesome. God, yeah. Well, and then of course we learn some of the rules about the Bounty Hunters Guild. When Werner Herzog, after the Mandalorian questions what he's going to do with the child, he says like, I thought that was against protocol.
yeah,
So like
we forget this happened.
which is interesting because like I heard that and I immediately thought of the transporter. Because Jason Statham's got his rules.
Yeah.
Like, you never open the trunk, you never check the package, you never deviate from the plan.
Yeah, it was very transporter-like in that
Yeah,
regard.
so I thought that was really, really interesting. And then almost exactly like the transporter, when he finds out it's human cargo and an innocent, he decides to go back on the bounty.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh god, yeah, and then we get that amazing scene where he storms the building
Yeah.
and like takes out all those stormtroopers. But the best part of that is when the weird Eyebot thing that Jabba's palace had jumps out. He just grabs it and just snaps it off.
And it makes this awful scream before it happens.
As soon as he like stepped behind, I was like, "Oh man, he's gonna break that thing off."
And he just walks off.
Yeah, it was so good.
And we just get to see this raid in which he takes out all these stormtroopers in ways that we've always wanted to see portrayed on film, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
He's a sneaky boy.
Well, and then the other cool thing about that scene is that now like the stormtroopers have like tactical blasters. Because like they go in, like they flip on like tactical flashlights on him
Yeah.
when they're walking around, which is really cool because we've never seen that before.
No.
At least not in the main canon.
I can't even think of it in a video game right now.
So, but yeah, like I was like, oh, it would make sense. Like if the stormtroopers in a dark room, how are they gonna see?
Yeah. I think
Not that
clone
it would
troopers
improve
would seem to
their
do that,
aim.
but yeah.
But yeah, like that was really cool. And then of course, like going back even further, we find out that there are other Mandalorians.
Yeah. Which we saw in the
And
first
a
episode.
decent handful, yeah.
But
Yeah.
they actually get to play a
A
big
role
part
this
in this
time.
role.
Yeah.
Especially one who the big
The heavy.
the heavy guy, like he shows up, and as soon as he starts talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Jon Favreau. Like that's Jon Favreau's voice, and he looks like Jon Favreau.
I thought it was Favreau.
He
Yeah.
looks like Jon Favreau.
I think. Well, it looks like Jon Favreau could be in
His
that
frame.
armor. Yeah.
It looks like Happy Hogan got
Yeah,
some Mandalorian
exactly.
armor.
Which it actually isn't. Jon Favreau only voiced the character.
Okay.
Tate Fletcher is the guy inside the armor, and he's been in the show twice now because he was in the pilot. He was one of the guys in the bar who was gonna
At the beginning.
take Horatio Sands' glands
Oh,
that the
yeah.
Mando takes out. So it's him inside the armor, but Jon Favreau is voicing him, and his name is Paz Vizsla. He's a descendant of Pre Vizsla somehow, which is the original character that Jon Favreau voiced in the Clone Wars.
Interesting.
So I like that Favreau is voicing all these Vizslas.
Yeah.
That's
He
really
gets to-
cool.
He gets to put his hand on the scale a little
Yeah.
bit there.
Yeah. Well, and then of course we get the confrontation between this guy.
Yes.
The armorer stops him, and then we find
Yeah.
out that their mantra is "This is the way,"
This is the way.
which yeah, it was a real cool little thing. And I like it too because I got Shades of Blade when she was talking to him and told him like that their secrecy was how they survived, and that was like their strength.
Yeah.
And then the new, was it Paz-Vizsla?
Paz-Vizsla, yeah.
Paz-Vizsla, so not a Pez dispenser. Paz-Vizsla, because he even makes the comment, is like, our strength used to be in our numbers.
Yeah.
But now, like, we know that, like, this could very well be the last of them, or
Could
close
be,
to it.
yeah.
And then later in the episode, the Mandalorian even remarks that since they've outed themselves and like come to his aid, they're going to have to relocate now.
Yeah, there's gonna we're gonna learn so much more about this, I'm sure. Like the way that they've learned to survive and stuff, because we still don't know anything about Foundlings.
No.
Yeah,
nothing
we do get a little bit more of a glimpse into his past as well.
Yeah, which is
while she's fashioning the Kuros for him.
Yeah, and his past mirrors. There's the shot of the doors closing on him while he's being hidden away. Mm-hmm. And it's very similar to what he does to Baby Yoda in the previous episode, where he closes that crib on him.
Yeah. And then of course he's discovered by one of the battle droids from the prequels.
Yeah,
or a similar one.
Is a super battle droid? Yeah.
This is the first time, kind of in the main canon so far, that they've directly referenced
prequel stuff.
the droids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I even looked at my roommate when that happened. I was like, oh, so they couldn't spring for a droideca on this episode?
And it looked super battle droids still looked a little bit out of place. I like the placement of it, but I don't know. They look like a CG character,
which makes sense because that's all they are.
Yeah,
just like there were never any clone troopers in the prequels. Like they never built any clone trooper armor. They're all CG,
right?
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's
like, how easy would it be to just make some armor?
Yeah,
you did it for stormtroopers,
right? You've done this a lot.
Look, George Lucas has committed a great number of crimes, and he will be tried for all of them in due time.
Well, the show is not one of them because
the show is
heavily involved in this show.
And it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, no. I was referring more to the prequel decisions. That just reminded me the other thing. So during that amazing shootout at the end, the Mandalorian takes out a Rodian. And at the same time, me and my roommate just looked at each other and go, McClunky!
They should have had him say that before he died.
I honestly, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't go back in, because it would have been super easy to even use the same audio from that New Hope kind of thing.
Oh, speaking of reusing audio, have we gotten a Wilhelm Scream yet?
I thought we did this episode.
I don't know that I heard one.
But it also might have just been the sound of somebody being disintegrated, because it was a similar sound the second guy that he shot, where it sounded like kind of like a Wilhelm Scream.
Could be. They've actually Matt Wood, who is the guy who's like the head sound guy at Skywalker Sound right now, they aren't using the Wilhelm Scream right now. The Wilhelm Scream actually wasn't used. It's not been used in the previous 4 films.
That's
unfortunate. They decided to kind of hang the jersey on the Wilhelm Scream, and they said that there's a new scream or a new sound. I assume it's a scream that they're using right now, and it has yet to be discovered,
identified.
Yeah,
is it? I've got a bad feeling about this.
Oh. Could be. We haven't gotten one of those yet either.
The tragedy. Brian Posehn would have been perfect for that Wilhelm Scream.
There hasn't been a Wilhelm Scream in 4 films?
No, there wasn't any in Force Awakens or Last Jedi, Solo, or Rogue One.
Yeah, none of them are jumping out at me.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, the show goes on, I guess.
Oh, no. I just thought of the worst possible use for the Wilhelm Scream when Kylo Ren kills Han Solo.
Oh, absolutely.
He just lazily flops over the side.
And then Kylo whispers in his ear, Greedo says McClunky. The Lannisters send their regards.
McClunky. What a time.
We really didn't get much of Baby Yoda in this one. He was kind of incapacitated.
But I loved the fact at the beginning, like the first 5 minutes of the episode, while the Mandalorian is taking him to the client, is a lot from just the perspective of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Like him seeing this world and looking up at him and just like taking all of this in. You're really getting it from his perspective at first.
I mean, he's 50 years old. That's got to mean something, right?
Yeah,
He's got to have
seen
experienced
yeah.
something. But yeah, he was very much just kind of checking
I
out
was
the
getting
surroundings.
a lot of Gizmo vibes from Baby Yoda.
I
at
thought
the
that
beginning.
I was even especially when they're on the ship in the beginning. I kept thinking, I was like, when is he going to start like whistling Gizmo's little theme?
Yeah. They get Howie Mandel to voice him.
Oh, just wait till he feeds it after midnight.
I thought it was interesting when he is with the other Mandalorians, and they ask about a kill. What did the damage and all that?
Mhm.
It's what was it?
The Mudhorn.
Mudhorn.
We finally get a name for it.
Yeah, that's a good name for it.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah, and she's talking about it's a good signet. And,
Yeah.
and he turns it down.
He says, yeah, because he
It
was
not an
It wasn't a
honorable
noble kill.
or
he was
noble
helped
kill.
by an enemy.
Yeah.
Didn't know it. And he's still obviously weighing kind of the relationship with this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and what a
Yoda.
great line too. He didn't know he was my enemy.
Yeah.
Like that was amazing.
Which there's a lot of things to read into that. Does he mean just by mere
By sheer
virtue of the
virtue
fact
of it being a bounty.
yeah, that he's a bounty, or is there something deeper going on where he actually does know a bit about the history between the Jedi and the Mandalorians at this point? I don't know.
Part of me feels like he's probably in the dark about the Jedi.
That I think so too.
Because if he didn't recognize like Force use, like I feel like if you're familiar with the Jedi, you've probably at least like heard of the Force and potentially what it can be used for. Whereas it's to me when he saw it, it seemed like a caveman like seeing fire for the first time, where it's like this new thing that's been around, but like you've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the vibe that I got when Baby Yoda helped him take out the Mudhorn.
Yeah. He has a line in there about getting his armor reforged and that it was compromised. What he had before was not Beskar, though, right? I mean,
No, it doesn't look like
it doesn't
it.
seem like it. Doesn't act like it.
Bent pretty easily.
Yeah, it seemed like because like even Boba Fett doesn't have Beskar.
Doesn't look like it.
They typically, I feel like they just refer to it as Mandalorian battle armor
Yeah.
in general, and I think that's what he had, or at least similar to that.
Gotcha.
And
And
then-
I'm really surprised he ended up with kind of the full set in this episode. I thought we were going to go with like kind of a
Piece by
video
piece.
game.
Piecemeal
Yeah.
assembly. Yeah, no, it was great, and then there was enough left over for the Foundlings.
Yeah.
Oh, good
Because the
old
children of the
Foundling.
future, for lack of the exact same phrase, which I want to say I'm really glad that they found a better term than younglings.
Yeah.
Because oh boy, would that be tragic? The younglings are the future. Oh boy,
Not anymore.
until someone who is supposed to bring balance to the Force comes along and cuts them all down.
Yep. I like Foundlings as a concept. It definitely invites some thought about what does this mean? Like,
Yeah.
they've got. It seems like the Mandalorian bloodline, as like an actual bloodline, is probably more or less gone.
Yeah.
Except for these Vizslas.
Right. Well, yeah. No, that's a good point, actually. Oh, that's a good point. There's got to be some still, but largely they're bringing from without.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that's how they're kind of keeping their numbers alive at all.
No, I definitely think, yeah, we're going to meet more of them. I think this is probably just a cell.
Just a small
We're
pocket
going
of
to
'em.
see, yeah, I think we're going to see some more. I think Dave Filoni has hinted at the fact that there are going to be other characters that we know of that are
Yeah.
just going to be like reintroduced. And I think
Yeah.
the Mandalorians are...
I was kind of hoping for like an after credit scene when like they're talking about we have to move, the base.
Yeah.
I was hoping
They're all
for
like, we
an-
got to move these refrigerators.
I was waiting for an end credit scene with the armorer like packing up, peeking out the window. Come on, wait, guys! I'm coming. Hang on. I've got so much more stuff than you guys.
Yeah. And she seemed to be really like a matriarch of the.
Yeah, she
She's
kind
the
of
one in
seems like
charge.
a head honcho. Like, and she literally got two of them not to kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which our Mandalorian was definitely outplayed there.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
The other guy had the knife at his neck.
How great was the 4-to-1 callback?
Yeah, I
we
love
got?
that.
That was so cool. And then like, as soon as they were talking about the whistling birds, I was like, all right, we're definitely going to see those this episode.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Yeah.
And those are part of Boba Fett's costume as well, which we never see those be put to use or how they work.
Man, God, Boba Fett really does punk out. Like,
He had so
doesn't-
many weapons at his disposal.
Like, and he doesn't do anything cool with any of them. Like,
Yeah, the use of the flamethrower so far through this series has been
the flamethrower's been
cool.
great.
Yeah.
The flamethrower's been a blast.
That's
Does
just
Boba
excellent.
Fett ever successfully kill anyone in the main canon?
Not that I can think of.
He tried to kill Mace Windu in the Clone Wars.
Yep.
No, I can't think of anybody.
Yeah. No, and then even Jango went out like a punk,
Yeah.
like father, like son. My favorite thing about these Mandalorians is they showed up to a battle and nobody got gunned down like a chump.
They were actually a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
They're kinda doing
I was half
bunny hop
expecting
thing.
at least like one or two of them to get picked off.
Yeah.
And that, like, no, they're just wailing on these dudes, like covering for the Mandalorians' escape.
Mm-hmm. And they've got that quality armor.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean they had everybody outgunned and out. Just
Oh
talented.
yeah, the jetpacks. I didn't even I think I like probably realized it, but it didn't occur to me until he makes that comment at the end when the other Mandalorians flying alongside his ship is like, I gotta get me one of those. Like, those first two episodes would have been way easier if with a jetpack.
I want to play this video game.
Yeah.
This so far Mandalorian would make a fantastic video game.
Oh yeah, it'd be a blast. I would just keep playing the
You get
level where
upgrades.
you
Yeah, you get
scale a
upgrades.
sandcrawler and kill Jawas.
You've got
Yeah.
escort missions. You've got ambiguous force powers.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's the thing in Rebels too. Is Sabine, who is a Mandalorian, she doesn't have a jetpack for a while, and then it's like in season 3 or season 4 where she finally gets hers as well.
She becomes Lady Rocketeer.
I don't know how I felt about the him Iron Manning outside the window.
That was
It
exactly
felt a little
as I was
weird.
like, oh, there's War Machine.
Right. Like I like the concept of it, but I don't know. It just felt very Marvel and Star Wars.
I was okay with it. It was brief. It was over quickly. I think it was there entirely just to remind us that this Mandalorian doesn't have a jetpack.
right. You
That's why he sits so comfortably in that seat.
Yeah,
Because once he gets
jetpack
one,
kind of-
it's gonna be
never has to worry
bulky.
about roasting the back of his kneecaps. Do we get has there been an explanation or a classification for his ship?
no. The it's called the Razor Crest.
Okay.
but I don't know.
Anything
We don't know
about
where
that?
it came from.
I saw it this time and I've kind of had this thought since the beginning. It looks like a refitted, like one of those clone trooper transport ships,
One
like
of the,
or kind of at
oh,
least
yeah,
a
you're-
similar
gunships.
design to it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And I've not really gotten a good idea of like the layout of it yet. We've kind of seen the cargo hold,
Yeah,
and we've seen the
carbonite
bridge.
thing.
Yeah, but I don't have a good sense of like what leads to what.
Yeah, it looked like a straight shot for the most part, and then
Yeah.
God, also like how great has it been that he's at this point he's used pretty much every weapon in his arsenal on a regular basis
Yeah.
throughout the show.
And it's not getting like stale. You're not
Yeah.
like growing tired of like, he's gonna use this again. It's,
Yeah. Well, then like having the flamethrower short out on him was a nice touch. Because it's great. Like, and I know I said this earlier, like how the show has done a really good job of keeping the main character in danger, and this episode is no different. Like from start to finish, like he's constantly outnumbered. I love that this episode they essentially just John Wicked the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
They're just like, oh, like as soon as those tracking pods went off, I was just like, are they gonna John Wick him? And then they all show was like, oh, they John Wicked him. Grief Karg is Ian McShane now.
I love it. But then to speak to that, like he uses the disintegrator.
Yeah.
times.
Oh, I love that disintegrator rifle.
It's a great effect.
It seemed like Grief Karga was not expecting that. He'd never really seen that weapon in action before.
Oh yeah. Well, and then he even says something about it. Yeah, God, it's so good.
So that's quite a weapon.
What's like in Force Awakens? It's like the first time we really see the effects of Chewbacca's bowcaster. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like, hey, what does this do? It, gives a Sith Lord a crippling injury to the point where he can barely hold his own against a Force neophyte.
That aside, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. That's a very valid reason for why Rey was able to hold her own against him.
Yeah. That's a valid reason as to why Finn was able to hold his own.
Yeah. Hey,
For a
what do you
minute.
mean you were able to hold your own against him for his end? I was like, oh, because he was literally holding his guts in. Yeah, gotcha.
Do we have a name for that weapon that he's got? It's very reminiscent of the weapon Boba Fett has from the
It's definitely
Right.
based off of that.
But have we ever gotten a name for it?
No, not that I know of. Yeah, I don't see anything here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
Well, then later, or earlier rather, I think it's the same weapon. He uses the butt end of it essentially as like a cattle prod on one of the stormtroopers, or is that one of the stormtroopers' weapons that he uses on him?
He's got the
because got the
end
two
of it, the
prongs on
prongs
it.
shot.
Yeah, the same prongs. Yeah, he used in the pilot as well to get the giant walrus off the ship.
Yes, that's what.
Which that's like a callback to Boba Fett and the holiday special, smacking that dinosaur with it.
Yep. So it's a disintegration rifle and a cattle prod. Or a space walrus prod.
You suppose he gets a backpack rocket too? Are we just gonna slowly equip him with everything Boba Fett's
Yeah, I
ever
think
had?
that'll happen by the end of the season
Probably.
or next season. But we'll see.
That's pretty cool.
I just want to see him do a gun spin move and holster it after.
Jango Fett style.
Yeah.
Every time we get something close to Boba Fett in any Star Wars, we don't get, because like Captain Phasma's presumably gone.
Yeah.
Jango Fett didn't really do much more than
No.
Boba Fett did.
It's like, oh, hey,
Very
Jango Fett, what are you gonna do? Get cloned and then get my head chopped off.
Yeah, it's very disappointing how Jango Fett just failed to deliver, because I remember being so excited when I saw that teaser trailer for Attack of the Clones with the Darth Vader breathing, where you got these like few select shots where it faded in and out of black. I remember seeing this shot of it's Jango Fett like flying behind a pillar, and you don't know, like, this is back where you're like not watching things on the internet and you can look at details, so like it looked like Boba Fett and you're like, what,
Yeah.
Boba Fett's in this thing, and we just saw him with a jetpack. Like, what's this all gonna be? And we see him use all those same toys but
Yep.
it just failed to deliver.
To minimal effect. He pretty much he holds his own against Obi-Wan for a little bit, because for whatever reason, for all but one battle in the prequels, they decided to make Obi-Wan just get his ass kicked all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so for me, Mandalorian is payoff for my whole life waiting for Boba Fett or
non-sucky
Jango
Boba
Fett,
Fett.
or for somebody to make use of these tools.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's amazing. Like it's firing on all cylinders. Like and even watching him get knocked around is fun.
Yeah.
Like even seeing that human element, like, and God, yeah, this final gunfight in the episode is so good.
Yeah.
Like, because I was wondering, I was like, how is he going to get out of this? And, like, he's so fast. And then, like, I didn't realize that he was literally standing next to a land speeder. Like, I just assumed he was, like, jump behind some bodies. I was like, oh, okay, no, that's a vehicle.
Yeah, and it plays out like a Western. Like, he jumps into a wagon, and there's no rider. It's just a horse.
Yeah,
but
and
instead of a horse, it's an
Grief Karga
astromech that
essentially
he
shoots the horse and disables the wagon. And then it just turns into kind of Butch Cassidy scenario where he's just like outnumbered and they're closing in on him until the Mandalorians all show up.
Yeah. I thought for sure they were going to go with the Force again. Like Baby Yoda was going to either.
I was thinking that,
the
but like
speeder
every
or
time they
something.
cut to him, it was like he was unconscious.
Right.
I was like,
yeah.
It's like how's Yoda, like Yoda probably, little baby Yoda probably didn't even know what's going on right now around him.
Yeah. Which Dr. Pershing, he claims that, you know, the child is alive because of him.
Yeah.
And I think based on what we've seen, that's seems to be pretty true.
I think so, yeah, because we think it's a pretty safe bet because it's him that we see the client arguing with through the thermal vision earlier. Yeah, and he even constantly says like that's not what we agreed on. Because like whether it be for value for the bounty alive or whether it genuinely be like from some kind of compassion, like he wants to keep this creature alive.
Yeah.
And yeah, like he definitely, he seems like he's probably either reluctantly in this role or he is in this role specifically to protect this thing.
I didn't see either of those.
Yeah. I would buy that. What do we think they're extracting from Baby Yoda?
But I think it's
midichlorians.
DNA would be my guess.
Well, but we've not so far under Disney. We've not had any direct call out to midichlorians at all, right?
No.
This would seem like a weird left turn to me for them to be like, oh yeah, so we've been cloning Yoda so we can steal his midichlorians, and you know now everybody can have the Force.
Well, I think we even hear the client say something to the effect of extracting like genetic material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably for the sake of cloning, because you mentioned on our first episode that doctor had the same patch as the Camino cloning facility.
Yeah.
So that checks out. That would make a lot of sense.
Which was Dr. Pershing. Right?
Yes, that's him.
Gotcha.
So like obviously, and I think this lends itself to the theory that the client is not the only person after this thing, because if the cloning facility is involved, like there's probably an interest in recreating this and somehow channeling that and using it as a weapon. Whereas whoever sent IG-11 specifically sent IG-11 with orders to terminate the bounty.
Yeah.
So, like, some people clearly want to exploit it, and some people clearly are threatened by it or afraid of it or both, and just don't want to mess with it at all. So I'm really kind of curious to see what other parties reveal themselves as this all goes. And I'm also... it's probably a safe bet that the client is the one who issued the bounty on the Mandalorian after rescuing the child.
It's interesting that he wasn't around.
Yeah. Like, maybe his troopers informed him or something.
Is that, did I miss something there? Is that what happened? That a bounty got put on the Mandalorian?
So when the tracking fobs like all went off at once.
I guess I thought
after
that was...
scene.
I thought that was because like the Baby Yoda, that mark was moving again.
It could very well have been tied to that too.
Could be that, because it was a very cool scene. It did make me question, wait, how do these work? I thought, because I thought you acquired a fob from like Grief Karga or somebody, like it came with the puck, because he turns them in when he brings the bounties back.
Yeah.
So I was questioning, like, well, why would they all have fobs already that are like ready to be programmed
like
for him?
APB or something that. Yeah, I don't know. It was a little ambiguous at best.
Yeah,
I could make jumps there. I just didn't. I wasn't sure what they were really trying to say. I really like Carl Weathers in the Star Wars universe, though.
Yeah. My favorite line of the episode is when we like come in on him and he's talking to some other bounty hunter and he goes, "No pucks for you, now get out of here."
He's such a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Again, the casting in the show has been phenomenal.
Yeah, he's just like when the Mandalorian comes in, he keeps calling him Mando, and he just like feels like this really like excited, flamboyant king in like a great hall, like drinking a big old tankard of mead.
Well, he reminds me a lot of Lando when we first get introduced to Lando. This guy that's like he's gonna turn on you as soon as it's not in his favor. But
Yeah.
man, you're the best guy for the job, so you're my favorite. I like Werner Herzog for texture though.
Oh
He
yeah, God,
adds
he's such
just-
a great character. Like it's gonna be a bummer when that character inevitably gets killed, I'm sure. But oh boy, it's Werner Herzog having fun with it for the meantime. Again, it's an amazing casting too. Like it's, I always wonder, like why. Because like I feel like Star Wars, for the most part, we like. I don't think they've ever cast anyone bad for the most part, but God, Werner Herzog is such an amazing choice. Like
You don't think Star Wars has cast anyone bad?
Look, I think Jake Johnson was limited by the script he was given, as was Hayden Christensen.
Okay. Jake Lloyd.
Oh, Jake Lloyd. What did I say? Jake Johnson.
My brain was going. I was like, Jurassic Park. But
Jake Lloyd. Yeah, sorry, Jake Lloyd. God, I said it. I feel like I said it before. I wish Jake Johnson would get brought in as Poe Dameron's brother, Joe Dameron.
Yeah, Joe Dameron.
This
He's the
Mandalorian would be a
Spider-Verse
good place for him to
Poe.
pop in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just roll it. But yeah, for the most part, I stand by it. I think it's less acting choices and more this. It's how do you make that script sound good?
Yippee.
Yeah,
It's so wizard.
You could introduce Jake
it's
Johnson
working.
Oh, it'd be. Oh, we should.
no.
No, they should do a deep fake of Jake Johnson on Jake Lloyd's face.
I would not be mad about that.
But you could introduce Jake Johnson as Poe's dad. You get this great webisode of Jake Johnson. Bow.
Just put Barf from Spaceballs in his Chewbacca.
The best B team. Oh no.
Werner Herzog as the client, just like you said, cast amazingly well. That was a Jon Favreau call, from what I hear.
Yeah,
And it's really cool because up until now, all of our Imperials have all had English accents.
Yeah, decidedly British.
Yes, so it's interesting hearing a German accent in Star Wars.
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
Which makes them makes it feel like they're even more tied to Nazis.
yeah, absolutely. Oh man, get Christoph Waltz in as an Imperial officer. How great would that be?
Now I really
Just
want to see that
recreate that
happen.
opening scene from Inglourious Bastards, but he's looking for Ewoks. Do you speak Huttese? Maybe we switch to it.
But
He asked for some blue milk.
some strudel. But
That's perfect.
yeah, is there anything else in this episode you guys want to?
Just God, again, just how amazingly choreographed and well done these action sequences are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the way like the when the Mandalorian goes to get back Baby Yoda, like just that entire sequence, the way it plays out, like it because it shifts gears from being him just like tactically taking back this place. And then it like kind of downshifts into like almost a Batman scene.
Yeah.
Where he's like sneaking around and like picking them off one by one. It was almost like watching like one of the Arkham games unfold where he's
Where are you?
here. Which yeah, God, just that's so good. And again, just that final shootout with all the bounty hunters where he's outnumbered. Because again, I was like, there's no way he dies now, but like, how does he get out of this?
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like this is the closest, like the Mandalorian is the most like I've genuinely like felt like I don't know how this character is going to get out of this in anything Star Wars related ever. Like I genuinely have like a feeling of dread and worry when he gets cornered in these situations. Like I know he's going to come out, but like I don't know how. Whereas, like, you know, I go back and I watch, like, something like
I was going to say,
it's like, yeah, there's danger, but, like, they're going to get out of this. Like, sure, at the expense of Porkins' life, but rest in Porkins.
Good golly. That's a reverse though. Talking about casting in Star Wars. Good golly, they're like,
It came from
who we got
behind.
This guy's overweight. What's
Will he
his
fit in
name?
the cockpit?
Who do we got?
Sitting there and shake him around.
This pizza delivery guy.
Oh, jeez. So
Who do we got? Not Dom DeLuise.
I would love to see them explore kind of a dynamic of he takes damage. You know, he loses an arm or something, a la Star Wars. But then he's forced to become what he hates. He has a droid. You know, he's got a robotic arm.
Oh, yeah.
He hates robots.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the first glimpse we really get of that with the Super Battle Droid show.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I didn't even make that connection earlier because we find out in that first episode he clearly has an issue with droids.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily know why explicitly, and then this time we get at least a hint of why he might hate droids.
Mm-hmm.
And then he literally is in a position where he has to put his life in the hands of a droid.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's oh boy, what a roller coaster this episode is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels great. We were talking about the Zabrak and like the armor that Zabrak's wearing is very reminiscent of stuff we see in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
We're seeing great representation from across all Star Wars. There's a Rodian in there. There's
there's a Twi'lek in the beginning of the episode.
there's a is it a Quarren? The guys with like the
Yep,
noodle
those
faces.
are Quarrens. Yep.
There's one that tries to sneak up behind. I think that's one of the ones that gets
yeah.
zapped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we haven't seen what are the three-eyed cow looking things?
Grands.
We haven't seen one of those yet. I don't think.
No, we've not.
Just really good representation from Star Wars. It feels good, and we're seeing stuff. Have we seen a Zabrak outside of Darth Maul in kind of the main series? I know they show up all kinds of places in the...
in the Clone Wars with Savage
obviously.
Press and
as far as
stuff.
the live action canon, if we do, not in a major way that I can recall
Yeah,
immediately.
I can't think of any other ones other than Maul.
There's a Jedi.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I only know that, though, because I had, like, the trading card.
All right. I'm going to have to...
She's female. She has, like, real light...
Oh, you're thinking of a female one. I'm thinking of a male one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you
I
going to say?
remember what I was going to say. No, I just... this was just a little moment that I thought was funny when Grief Karga tries to convince the Mandalorian to go to the Twi'lek Healing Palace.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a strip club and or brothel to
Yeah,
me.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm sure you'll find Ian McShane there running the place. Yeah, Agent Kolar is the
Zabrak.
Yeah, the Zabrak.
I remember him too, though. I might be thinking of somebody else.
And I think
so we've seen
he's
some.
coughed. Yeah, but yeah. So
seen some.
we've seen a few. I like the diversification of these all these species as well.
When are we going to get Warwick Davis?
He might have been the droid. That would have been a waste.
I demand Warwick Davis. I was talking to somebody about the other day. I was like, "Oh, is Warwick Davis that weird thing that Nick Nolte is?" I was like, "That's like twice as tall as Warwick Davis." Ugnaughts are short, but they're not that short. They're not.
Actually, I think
short.
Quill is pretty tall for an Ugnaught.
Yeah, he wasn't. I went back and watched that again. He was a lot taller than, and maybe they were just playing with camera angles or whatnot. But he was
I mean,
pretty tall.
they're taller than Ewoks though. They're definitely taller than them for sure. They're probably 3.5, 4 feet. I'd bank maybe.
Yeah.
Our Ewoks are typically 3 or less.
But all in all, I mean, the show has just paid great attention to Star Wars. Paid
great
homage without being in your face about anything. If you know the universe, then it's there, but it's not in the way.
Oh no, it's
not at all.
definitely appealing to the masses.
I never thought I'd get to see an Ugnaught with a speaking role that I cared about.
or just period.
Yeah. It's like, hey, what are these weird things going to do? Oh, they're going to rip apart C-3PO. Okay, cool. Are they going to serve the story at all? Oh, they're going to rip up C-3Po. Oh, okay, sure. I ain't
they're
mad
gonna
about it.
Yeah, play hot potato with Chewbacca.
I'm real curious where we go from here, though.
Yeah,
like
really.
this is just good Star Wars.
Yeah, well,
uncharted
now the
territory.
Mandalorian is essentially on the run.
Yeah, we don't know.
John Wick in it, baby.
So yeah, so do we think that he took a bounty that was like as far as he could go away? Do we think he's gonna continue that? Do you, like he's gonna go after that bounty and come back? He's clearly like very motivated to keep doing jobs and keep collecting stuff, but we don't know why.
I don't know. I think the actual bounty hunting, I think, might be. He'd have to find a new guy to work for.
Well, and is he even part of the guild anymore? Is this a?
I think. I mean, we didn't even talk about the title. The sin is the sin. This breaking of the code.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Or is the sin, like, there are several references to what the sin could be. Yeah. Him taking the Beskar from the Imperials, which, Paz Vizsla is like, it's, they took this from us, and why are you...
Oh, and there's that great moment earlier where Paz Vizsla calls him a coward for sitting with Imperials, and then the armor reaffirms, like, how can anyone who chooses this life be considered a coward?
Yeah.
Which, again, is just a very badass thing to say.
There's weird tension even within the Mandalorians about Beskar. Like, clearly the Empire had a lot of Beskar, and it seems like, or at least what we got in the first episode was like, it's good that it's back with the clan and that kind of stuff. But then there's other people that have different opinions about, you're taking payment from people who stole this and whatnot.
Yeah.
I want to know so much more about what the clan is all about.
Yeah, no, I think we'll get some more answers there. And on a lot of these questions. But, I think in the meantime, we can go ahead and wrap things up right now. So, Ryan, in the meantime, where can people find you at?
You can find me at Harbjagen, Harbjagen on Twitter.
And Dustin, how about you?
You can find me at DustinMeadowsComedy.com. If you're feeling froggy, it's DustinMeadowsComedy.com/IHeartWernerHerzog.
Oh, my.
I'm working on some fanfic where I retcon myself as a production assistant during Aguirre, the Wrath of God. Let's just say things get a little steamy.
You can reach the show at whowatchespodcast@gmail.com. And you can find the show on Twitter at whowatchespod, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And episodes of this show can be found on the main feed of Who Watches, alongside our coverage of the HBO series Watchmen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find your podcasts. Please subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's greatly appreciated and helps us out a lot. And if you're checking out this show mainly for Mandalorian coverage and want to hear more of our work, we implore you to check out HBO's Watchmen. It is such a wonderful, incredible series. Along with Mandalorian, it's the best thing on TV right now. We can't wait to see this week's episode of The Mandalorian. We have no idea where things are going, and it's pretty exhilarating. And in the meantime, initiate self-destruct sequencing.